I've just realised I do have another outfit. That seems to be like always seems to be caught in the same one every time I present. Firstly, I do apologise I've referred to my notes. We're like a lot of people like you, we're chasing out quarter end and then travelling, so trying to memorise it, but I have these here as a kind of help guide. So to kick off, I thought I'd tell you a little bit of a story. So in 2010, it was May 28th, I sat not far from here actually in Bermondsey Street near London Bridge. It was a sunny day. I wouldn't have known because I was in a basement office working for a UK startup called Huddle. And we'd just raised $11 million with Matrix Partners, our B round, and we were on this path, right, the path to getting to 10 million. And it was so exciting because I'd been told I'm going out to San Francisco with one of our co-founders, one of my colleagues, and we're going to build out this US machine. I couldn't have been more pumped up at the age of 27 around what we were doing. Fast forward 6 months, it was another sunny day. I was in a Regis office on Folsom Street in San Francisco. But the heat that was coming down, the web conference we had, and the fact we'd missed the last 2 quarters, was a damn sight hotter than the sun that was coming down back on my full head of hair back then. And I was thinking to myself, it was such a pivotal moment in my career, because I had no idea that we weren't going to go on and be an absolute rocket ship. You know, the excitement that you get of going 0 to 1 million and hitting it, you're like, there's nothing stopping us. We're going to be on the stock exchange in no time. I couldn't believe when I walked on the tube that people weren't looking at Huddle. I was like, why don't you have the app? Are you crazy? And then all of a sudden, everything had kind of gone wrong, and I'd shifted my whole life out to San Francisco. So I was trying to think, what did I learn during that period? And trying to distill it down to 3 points. And then Lauren asked me to put some slides together. I was like, okay, I'll go and speak to our design team around what infographics could I use. Like, could they draw me something special? And I couldn't think of anything other than this GIF. Because I was like, that has to be the best way to describe the journey. So smashing the 1 million is great. If you think you can do the same thing to get to 10, I hate to tell you, but you're wrong. And probably to add in a stage from Jeremy, I like to think of 0 to 1 is the proper startup stage. Then that 1 to 10 is you're growing up. And then 10 million on, you can almost reset the journey, but you're kind of on a scale-up journey. So getting to 1 million. So the whole way through and thinking of these different points, everything ultimately, if I simplified SaaS, for me, when I sit in board meetings, ultimately this is really what I'm trying not to break. When I ask for like monies for spiff or when I hire new people, marketing want to spend more money, we need more people for support. Really what you're trying to think is this whole time at a very oversimplified level. Now, 1 million, that stage is really like, it's like when people have kids in the room, it's like having a baby, right? You just don't want to kill it. Keep it alive, That's the goal. Like, can you build and get yourself a good enough product market fit? Can you find enough customers that say, yes, this is working? And then can you convince some VCs that your dream is amazing, or bootstrap, or whatever it is, to start getting to that next level? But I thought for this talk, for 3 points I wanted to focus the lens in a little bit more, was what I call kind of the grow-up phase, the 1 million to 10 million stage. And the reason that I picked that phase for me and for this conference is I think that's the hardest stage for sales. So if you carry on with my analogy, stay with me, I would describe this as like the spotty teenager stage, because you haven't yet identified your ICP well enough. You don't really know where your next 10 customers are coming from. You're trying to figure out how you grow this business, might take on a little bit of money. The glamour of being, hey, I'm rep number 3 into the business has probably gone. You can't offer the same benefits as Salesforce, but you still need to hire some top talent into your organization pretty quickly. So the 3 key lessons of things that I feel I've learned and would love to do better next time I went round. And it's worth pointing out, Huddle smashed through that 10 million barrier. And there's a lot of takeaways that I took from that to help Peakon get through that, kind of in the Q2 2018. So the 3 things, the first one is, don't hire when it's on fire. Everyone kind of hears to like the fire quickly, hire slowly. For me, don't hire when something's already on fire. The second one is, stay horizontal, don't go in the verticals. And then my last point is, don't stop listening to your customers. So just kind of take a deeper dive into each of those for you. So the first one, don't hire when it's on fire. Now, every organization will hit scaling issues, and Jeremy touched on some of these on one of his slides. And the way that I kind of tried to break it down is kind of like 3 Ps. You kind of have your product, your process, and your people. And all three start to break as you go through these phases. But all of them, from a product and a process perspective, are built, designed, operated, and run by people. So if you wait until those things have gone wrong and then try to hire the person, basically you're on this decline, and then it's on fire, and now you need to find a hero. Like, heroes are very, very few and far between, because a lot of them may have started companies already, and you're trying to find someone how to fix the fire, which is incredibly challenging. I'm a big rugby fan. I kind of use with my team the kind of sports analogy when we're scaling the business, which is if you go up a league, you need to get more talent into your organization, but you also need to think about all the support team that help you to drive this organization forwards, whether that's physios, coaches, people working in the canteen, you need a new stadium, a new office. All of these things have to be taken into account, but they're all driven by the right people coming into your company first. The people that get you to 1 million are probably not going to be the same people that get you to 10 million, and the people that then go on that journey again and beyond are not going to be the same ones. And that's kind of the harsh reality of it a little bit. I'm quite lucky, so personally my example of this is at Peakon in Q3, we smashed our number, so it's super exciting, but we had less than 50% of the reps hit the number. So we kind of realized we've got a little bit of an issue here on our ramp. And I spoke to my mentor, Leslie Young. She'd run sales at Box. She's amazing. And I just asked her, hey, Leslie, this is what we did. Do you think I need to hire a sales trainer? And she just looked up at the camera and was like, I think you're 2 quarters too late, Neil. I was like, yeah, fair point. So other roles that we've hired in this kind of 1 to 10 million, we hired a renewals manager to make sure we started investing into our customers early enough. We hired an exec assistant, which sounds really glamorous, but actually, do you really want your executive team spending all their time in their calendars? Or do you want them out raising money? Do you want them out spending time with your customers, driving motivation, maintaining the culture? All those things you saw on Jeremy's slide have to start at the top so that they can push up from the bottom. And they won't if you find yourself being trapped in your calendar all day long when you're also trying to hire lots of people. And sales ops. So I'll talk a little bit about that coming on to my second point around the importance of getting a sales ops in early, because there is no salesperson yet to meet that I know that loves admin, unless someone's going to put their hand up now. So you need to get your strategy right for your CRM very early, because you'll need those metrics as you continue to scale. So on to point 2, when I said stay in the horizontals, not the verticals. I feel like a couple of eyebrows raised. I'm not talking about the go-to-market strategy. I'm talking about the way that you design and set up your teams. It's very easy as you start scaling to start thinking in columns. I have my sales function, my marketing function, my CS function, et cetera, et cetera. But actually what you want is you want it to go around in circles. You want people to still stay working together. If you think what made you successful getting to 1 million, you didn't have those breakdowns in the same way. Now, it definitely gets harder because you'll probably find that your sales team is bigger than what the entire company was just 6 months ago as you start to scale. So it's challenging, but it's so important to get it right. And at Peakon, one of the co-founders, Dan Rogers, he runs the marketing team, probably one of the smartest people I've had the pleasure to be able to work with. Me and Dan sat down before it even started and went through all of the different metrics. And this was over a few beers, a couple of 3 beers. But we looked at everything from our conversion rates, where we need to drive different lead sources from, how to push things through the funnel. And what we agreed on was something called MTM, the metrics that matter. You don't need to pick 1,000 of these because then it gets confusing. But what you do need to do as you scale to keep alignment of your team so they can keep working in the horizontals is pick your metrics that matter. What are the metrics that will move your ARR number the most? So for example, for us, we looked at our conversion rates from sales qualified lead through to sales qualified opportunities, and then we looked at the win rates from there, from a SAM perspective, sales and marketing perspective. Those metrics still hold true. We use them in everything that we do. So we have a weekly meeting. We don't call it the sales meeting. We don't call it the marketing meeting. We don't call it the CS meeting. We call it the revenue meeting. And all the leaders stand up and present in that meeting. We record it because we're now a global business. And they talk around what they're working on to influence the metrics that matter. And the reason, if I come back to the point around why it's so important to hire a sales ops person, is if you don't hire that person and create the Bible for your metrics that matter, I promise you everyone will have a different view on those metrics. It's amazing what you can pull from your CRM tool to tell a story that you want to tell. So it's so important that you have someone that owns the Bible for your metrics that matter. And my last point around this one, around how do you keep this alignment so you can keep working in the horizontals, is think around what matters to your organization, i.e. your values. When you're 0 to 1 million, everyone will wear the t-shirt, stay late, eat pizzas, do whatever it takes to find a way to win. When you start bringing people in as you scale, it's critical that you keep what makes that company special. So we do a program, we have 7 values at Peakon. The 2 that resonate most with me personally, one is called WIT, which is we do whatever it takes to do the right thing. And the second one is serious, not seriously. So we need to build this company to get to the next level. We've taken VC money. This is a serious game. And we need to win. I don't want to come second. I didn't join Peakon to come second. But I don't want to do it and be miserable. Right? We're in a serious role, but we do it with a smile on our face, and our customers get to engage in us in that way. And the same thing then is delivered across the mantra of the whole organization from the revenue perspective. I think about if you're building these teams to keep this alignment, if you as a leader build a team that's only accountable to you, the minute you're not in the room, stuff doesn't happen. If you build a team that's only accountable to its target, you'll start working in your columns again. If anyone's read Challenge Yourself, which I'm sure everyone will, that's the lone wolf syndrome. So what you need to build is a team that's accountable to each other. And the way that you can do that is by creating your home truth statements, which are your values. They should be the things that gel all of you together, regardless of what department that you work in, what your role is, whether you're the cleaner or you're the CEO. What matters to you is doing the right behaviors that align to your values. And you find it becomes much easier to get everyone to rally behind your MTMs, your metrics that matter. Everyone's probably seen Glengarry Ross. So you know the joke, if you get it wrong, you don't want to get into a situation, which I've had personally before, where marketing come over and tell me that I'm weak, and my response is the leads are weak. You don't want to be in that place. So think about your MTMs. My third and final point is around don't stop listening to your customers. It sounds like a bat crazy thing, right? Because I'm sure everyone thinks that, but do you actually do it? Because when you're growing, it's far more glamorous to start looking at that new ARR logo, right? Everyone wants the next shiny logo to put on the website. There's an ego boost for the sales guy around doing it. There's probably some praise that goes up. Is the same praise for someone that gets a referral from a customer? Same praise for securing a renewal? A lot of people focus on new ARR and that line going up. What you're really looking at is your ARR. And how do you align people around that number? Because it's really hard to keep that graph going up and to the right if you suffer with leaky bucket syndrome. So what do we do at Peakon to try to help us with this? Well, I can't take credit for it. We're actually a Danish company. And if you know Danish people, they're very, very direct, but they also are excellent always. Like it has to be perfect, or my God, you're doing it again. And Christian, who's our CTO, from the very, very beginning, sent out an NPS survey on a monthly basis to all types of users across our product, so whether you're an admin or whether you're a manager. And that became one of our metrics that matters for the organization. Why? Because it aligns everyone. Do you want to be the sales guy that sells a deal that suddenly they're on the NPS goes, you told me that it had a rocket ship and a time machine included? We do engagement, right? It stops salespeople when you're under pressure, start doing the wrong type of deals, which hurts your renewal rate. It also means CS, get to understand what's happening within the customer install base and drive some accountability there. Often when you're scaling, your product team, your technologists don't get close enough to understand what customers are saying. And they don't feel recognized for what they are building and see the impact that it has. They now get visibility. And the critical part at this stage of the journey is your execs also start to see what's happening within your customer base. If you spend time with your customers, they help you find your next 10 customers. They also help you to shape and design your roadmap and your vision. Now, I'm not saying listen to your customers and go and build a bespoke product. That's a well-trodden path around how to destroy a company. But what I am saying is if you listen to your customers, you'll understand what they want, and then your job is to turn it into what they need, which is very, very different. So just some practical things. Make sure you have referral schemes set up. Make sure you're running your executive dinners. Take the time to make that investment, because you can say what you want about your brand between 0 and 1 million, but the minute you start getting past 1 million, your customers will dictate and decide to you what your brand really is. So to summarize, 3 things. Don't hire when it's on fire. That's quite painful. Make sure that you work in your horizontals, not your verticals, and keep listening to your customers. And that's what I'll just end on, is to go back to my analogy. It's fantastic when you get to the 10 million stage and you're into scale-up world, but you're a long time in scale-up and only a short time as a baby and the spotty teenager. So make sure you enjoy it and have fun, and remember, impossible is only an opinion. Cool, thank you.